Hey guys, it's Joe again. Today we're going to talk about 5 things you should do with your BMW to get it ready for winter and what to look out for. First thing we're going to do is talk about tires. First, the biggest thing you want to do with tires is obviously make sure you have good tread. So if you look here, this has really good tread. It's a brand new car, but that's something to pay attention to. The other thing you want to look at is what kind of tire do you have. This is an all-season tire. You can get a winter tire, and then obviously if your vehicle comes with a summer tire, you probably don't want to drive. So taking a look here, this is an M850. This one has a summer. These are summer all seasons, but still a summer tire. So that's one thing you want to watch out for. So if you look at the tread on it, you'll notice it is very smooth. There's not many cuts in it. So your traction overall will not be the best when it comes to stopping. Whereas when it comes with the all season, you'll notice these have a lot more cuts in the tire, so you get better traction, especially during the rain, winter, ice. And then we'll take a look at the winter tires, which will be the best option for you when it comes to driving in the snow. Is the winter tires. So looking at the winter tires here, you'll notice there's a lot more cuts in it. Makes a lot more sense as far as better traction goes. And it's also designed to operate at a lower temperature. The number 2 thing you should do is, if you have remote start, you should warm up your car in the morning. If you park it outside of a garage, your car operates it better when it's warmed up. That's what it's designed to. It's designed to get to its operating temperature, and it'll work at its best peak performance. So if you have remote start for your BMW and it's turned on in the car, if not, I'll show you how to turn that on real quick. In your car, what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to your climate settings, which will be your fan. You'll want to hit preconditioning, remote engine start, and then just check that for remote start. It'll give you a warning, just make sure your state laws, you comply with them. Hit OK, and now you're good to use remote start. With that in mind, once the remote start's turned on, the car's locked. All you want to do is just press your start button 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then the lights will flash and the car will start. This one won't because it has no gas in it. So that's the other thing you want to pay attention to. You want to make sure that you have enough gas in your vehicle if you are going to use remote start. So this one has none in it. But typically if you have the low gas light turned on, it will not remote start for you. So something to pay attention to and keep in mind. Number 3, what we're going to look at is topping off fluids. So what we want to take a look at is under the hood here. We're going to open that and we're going to take a look at the coolant and then our washer fluid. So under the hood here, now this will vary depending on what model you have. You'll have washer fluid is typically over here on the left-hand side. It'll have a blue cap on it. Just open that up and you just want to fill that with washer fluid. It's best just to use the blue kind. They don't recommend using anything that's like anti-icing or anti-freezing because it will mess with the sensor inside the vehicle. And then the other thing to look at is your coolant. So on this model and a lot of these models that have the air-to-water intercooler, you have 2 different coolant reservoirs. You have one there, and then you have one there. So this one will be for your intake. It's important, but not as important as the regular one. So when you open this up, you want to make sure that your car is cold. You don't want to do this when it's hot or just running, just because you'll want to be careful. Make sure nothing pops open. But taking a look here, you just want to make sure that you have coolant in there. You want to make sure that you're at the max line. This one's a tad bit over, but that's okay. Just due to thermal expansion and everything, that'll be fine. And then you just want to make sure that's good and tight, and you'll hear that click. So when you go to lock it and you're done, you'll hear a click. And that means that you're good to go. Same with the other one as far as locking it goes. But you just want to take this off. Again, make sure that your vehicle is cold. You don't want to do it while it's warm. And just take a look. Make sure that you're above the minimum, and you are. Or above the maximum, and you are good. And again, once the car runs, it'll flow through. And then again, when you go to make sure that you are good, you'll get to that wall, tighten it, and then you're good to go. So as long as you can't tighten it anymore and that arrow's all good, you're good. With the newer models of BMW, you can use the green coolant. With the older models, you'll have to use the blue coolant. But you could also switch to the green. They just don't recommend going from using blue in the new cars and switching from what the green used to be. Number 4, what you should do to make sure that your car is good to go for the winter is when you get the car, obviously you let it warm up and everything. There are a couple different things to notice about the modes when you're driving it. So looking at your different modes here, you have Comfort, Eco Pro, and Sport. So when you start the car, Comfort works really well. If it's really icy out, obviously this car doesn't have a snow mode. So when putting the vehicle in Eco Pro, that'll reduce your throttle response and also upshift for you. So you won't have as much of an experience of wheel slip, because when you go to hit the gas, it won't want to take off and spin. So something to consider there. Sport is obviously way more aggressive. For any of you guys who like to have fun with the car, you can drive it in Sport. It does work really well when you put it in manual mode. So that way it'll downshift for you, so you can control the gears, which works really well. Also, while we're looking here, you do have traction control off. It's always on, but if you press that, you have 2 different options. So you have traction control, which you can use that for loose ground. It's reduced chassis stabilization, steering intervention will be deactivated. And then DSC off is everything shut off. So no driver assistance, steering intervention or anything, no chassis stabilization. It is full, everything off. So something to pay attention to, especially when you're driving. And number 5, clear your windshield. So before you turn your wipers on, clear your windshield. You know, whether you have a windshield brush or anything like that. What it does is it helps, especially because like this snow is very heavy. So what that'll do is that'll help clear everything out. So that way you're not pushing all that snow around. Get you a cleaner wipe. Obviously let the car warm up so it could defrost the front windshield before you take off. But if you park your car outside, that'll definitely help. Hopefully these tips help. Hopefully you guys have a great winter driving experience. Thanks again for watching. Take care, and we'll catch you in the next one.